about 7 o'clock, and the sun's starting to set. So getting a little bit of shade on the east side of the trees. And that's where I planted all my fruit trees. So here's a pear that, I don't know, it's barely coming alive. This is from Tractor Supply. And I don't know if I recommend buying fruit trees from Tractor Supply, because about 75% of it looks to be dead. But lessons learned. You can see the shade here. It's giving it maybe another hour of an hour of shade compared to how it would be. And this is where I want to put my garden. I don't have it quite staked out, but this white flag here is kind of the end of the semicircle that I want to create. So if you can imagine it, a semicircle going up to the bluff right there. And I did a little work on the stormwater runoff over there. I'll show you in a second. But you can kind of see how that berm coupled with the bushes gives this more shade than other parts of the property. So if we just look over there, it's still pretty bright. But as we come over here, we're getting more shade. I don't think it's enough shade. The plants are already, the little starts I have are already getting to a little too much sun. And so I don't know if this is going to be enough. But I have a little persimmon tree planted over here. So my idea too is to have trees growing in the garden to provide shade. This I got in Austin. Little Fuyu persimmon. Really excited about that. I love persimmons. And it's budding out. So it looks pretty healthy. But I did a little swale action. You can barely see it because I think it filled up with silt. But I really wanted to get this soil hydrated. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. This is part of the swale right here. Tiny little thing. But it's coming from up here. So this is a stormwater drain, essentially. And I have a video of water cascading over the edge here and filling up this little dip. It probably fills up about, yeah, maybe a foot or two. And then it drains under this mesquite. And it's kind of been undercutting this wall right here. But you can see where, it's hard to show elevation on video, but I had built this little dam up here in hopes of diverting the water through here, but I don't know if this channel is big enough. So I think it might have overflowed and broke this little dam. So, you know, not sure how much water is coming through, but I probably need to make this bigger because I do want the water to go this way. But it did work decently. The ground is definitely more wet. You can still see it. It rained on Wednesday and there's still moisture in there. In fact, if I can find a shovel, I could show you. But yeah, see, this is definitely, see, and you look under the mulch, it's still wet. So, you know, progress. And again, I planted the persimmon on the east side of the mesquite tree to give it shade and hopefully more nitrogen than planting it, let's say, out here 10 feet away. Mesquite roots do go deep, so I'm not sure exactly how much that helps in regards to the nitrogen fixing properties of that tree, but I think the shade is really important from what I'm learning. So I think that was a good move. Yeah, but this little swale is just too small. I need to make it bigger. I mean, you can barely see it now because it just filled up with silt. See, it's right here. It looks like, I wonder what this is. These are marks from my pigs. So they came on here and rooting around probably. But yeah, that's the idea, is use what you got to grow food in the desert. Use the different earth structures as they are, instead of doing a whole bunch of, you know, quote-unquote construction. I think having that bluff is a really good asset, and trying to use it to my advantage. I just don't know if it's going to be enough. We can look over here. This is already shaded. It's about 7 o'clock. The sun's not going to set for another hour 15 minutes. And it's only March, so I can't imagine. The days are going to be much longer in June and July and August. So, you know, we just passed the spring equinox, but that's my idea, is using the shade of these trees. It could have gone here as well. That mesquite gives off a lot of shade, and the water does naturally drain over here. But all this grass is here, and I was just worried that maybe it'd be tough when the grass sprouts up to keep them off my plants. So I picked a spot that had a little more, had shorter grasses and a little bit less. So we'll see. You know, it's just a garden, just a one year trial. But yeah, you can see here, this ground is actually still saturated as well. Pigs have been probably messing around here too. But yeah, that's still moist, not wet. And grass is coming up. But this here is, I think, Johnson grass. I'm really not great at identifying grasses yet, but it gets really tall